Just straight up atrocious tonight from the Avalanche, from the onset of this game until however many minutes are currently left. I stopped watching with 10 minutes to go. It's a complete waste of my time. And I started this game off missing the first 15 minutes, Spring, because my daughter was vomiting on me during a feed. And I was better off served being vomited on the entire night than watching this fucking disgrace from the Avs, man. Thank goodness the Dallas Stars laid an egg this evening, because the Avs laid one that was just as big. That's a pretty bad effort. That's as bad defending as I've seen all season from them.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm letting the people know we're starting early, and I'm putting that image of Principal Skinner going pathetic.
Yep.
I mean, that was pathetic.
Yep.
That was the worst performance of the season.
Pretty bad.
By far. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit. That was a nothing burger. Okay.
There's not a single aspect of the game that I thought they did well.
Right? It can't ever be that bad again, right?
Nope. I don't think so. There's been losses, man, where I've come back and I've said, hey, there's been a couple of things that I thought were good, or like they were really bad early and then they kind of figured it out late, or they were really good early and then it kind of fell apart late. I've had times where they've won games, they've gone 0 for 4, 0 for 5 on power plays, or they've lost games and they've actually done decently on the power play. I've had something to pick out that has been like, hey, here's the saving grace of this game. This was from top to bottom complete crap. Wedgwood was terrible. Blackwood was terrible. The power play outside of the second opportunity tonight was completely worthless. The kill was awful. The defending was horrendous. Horrendous. And not just in the defensive zone. The defending where they are elite, like the best defensive team in the league in the neutral zone, it's as bad as I've seen it this year. It has to be their rock bottom game of the season. It was so bad.
I think you said it in there, and I mean I was thinking this in the third period, and the third period was just a joke. So glad we started early. Nobody played well. Not a single play. Every single one of those players should be ashamed. Every single one. Not one of you is redeemable, at least tonight. Okay, there's great talent on that team. They are so much better than that. There's no, oh, well, this guy did this, or, wow, Zakhar Bardakov sure had that. No.
You all get Fs.
F's across the board from McKinnon to Bardakov. Every single one of you, a big fat F. Okay. I do think, and we said it, man, they cannot win a Stanley Cup without Gabriel Landeskog.
Can't do it.
So it's not just, first of all, their second line is 3 centers, and that over time is a problem. 2 of them are new. One of them had been here before, Kadri, but you got 2 guys who just came over. They're on your second line. They're both centers playing with a center, Brock Nelson. Okay, so you don't have a wing. You're missing a couple wings. Lehkonen, Colton out. I single out Landeskog because 1, you need a wing. 2, he's a great 2-way player. And 3, just the attitude that he brings. This shit does not happen.
Yeah.
With Gabe Landeskog in this. And I'm watching. This game felt like some of their playoff performances in recent years, where you're just watching this team and you're like, okay, the talent's out there.
There's just no engagement.
But where is their engagement? Is a great word. Focus, intensity, want to. And they end up getting Landeskog in those playoff performances. And they look like a team tonight, where, and I'll say it again, that shit does not happen if Gabe Landeskog is out there. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, he feels as though he is the I mean, he's the dad in the room, man. Like, they're just a different team. Look at what they look like when he was playing this year. They were damn near unbeatable when he was healthy, damn near unbeatable. And ever since he's gone through the rib injury and then the dick injury, they're like a 500 hockey team because he hasn't really been around. And I hate to say it, he means that much. Like, there's no fucking around when he's on the ice and he's on the team.
Yeah.
Like, they just feel different. And I know it's easy to say like, oh, you're professionals. It shouldn't take one person, man. I know I've never been in an NHL locker room and played on a team of that level. I've been on teams and coached teams where like one guy goes away and the identity goes away. And that's kind of Gabe Landeskog. And I think there's enough data, not only this season, but over the course of the last 3 years, that like when Gabe goes away, the identity isn't there. And I don't know if there's anything that can fix it. Like, they're still good enough. Like, I still think they're going to do it this year. I think they're so dominant when they are good and right that they're the best team in the world. But there are times, man, when they don't look engaged, that it can fall off. And tonight's one of those instances, dude. It was ugly. Having to rewatch those first 15 minutes after missing it was its own set of torture.
You said exactly what I was gonna say, and that's we have 4 years now of
the data's there.
Data, and look, you can disagree. Well, we have a pretty good indication now that if you don't have Gabe Landeskog in the lineup, this team they don't push back. Even if Gabe was out there tonight and they were down 4 or 5-2. Gabe would have at least pushed somebody. Just push somebody. I'm not even asking for a fight. Just getting someone's grill.
Like, did you see the play tonight with Letang on the ice? Did you catch that?
No.
So there was a play in the short side corner next to Arthur's Shelobs. And I think it was Brock Nelson got tied up down there with Letang. And Letang was on the ice. And Nelson's trying to get his stick out, and Letang just looks at Nelson in the eyes with his ass on the ice and grabs Nelson's stick and just hangs onto it. Hangs onto it.
Sure.
And a referee doesn't make a call, but like at that point, I don't care. And I also don't care that it's Chris Letang and he's a future Hall of Famer. He's messing with you there. He grabs your stick. Dude, the next thing I'm doing is I'm shedding my mitts and I'm punching him in the face. Or if he
what point of the game was this? What point of the game was
it was like halfway through the second period, if I'm correct.
So I mean, it's about the time where it's pretty clear. Oh, they're getting their shit kicked in. Do something,
dude. If as soon as he lets go of your stick, you know where the stick goes? Into his mouth. Like that's you. There was no fight back
down
tonight.
4-5-2 at that point. Push back, and you look around you, and you know your team just doesn't have it.
It was ugly tonight.
So spark them, show them like this is unacceptable by getting, be a douche out there for real. Be a douche. Because here's the thing, Raj. You have Dallas on Wednesday, and I know
what a game. It's a playoff game.
Thank goodness Dallas. If Dallas didn't lose tonight, that's for the top seed. That would have been for the top seed on Wednesday, or at least currently where we would have stood on Wednesday night. It would have been for the 1 seed. Still, that's what I don't like about them. They should have gotten pissed. They should have sent a message tonight because it's Dallas on Wednesday. Like, you are going to come into that game now from the jump, with this awful feeling. You're going to feel like you just got kicked in by a team that did not have Sidney Crosby tonight, Like,
Evgeny Malkin looked like he was 26 years old. I thought Malkin had one more game to serve on his suspension. I said that today on the show. I was like, oh yeah, I don't think Malkin's back. And then Malkin showed up and he again looked like he was on the Russian gas.
I mean, I would like to see a fight in the first minute of the Avstars game on Wednesday. I mean, you got to show that you're not this nothing team when Landeskog is in the lineup, that you have some push to you, that you have some FU to you, because that's a problem. They're too nice. Like, Cale Makar is the best person in the world, right? Nathan McKinnon's a little bit of a bag, but he's not fighting. someone's got to do something. Someone's got to just be that team. The Stars do it all the damn time.
They do it all the time.
Do it.
It's what makes them so hard. It's what makes them so hard. They do it all the time, Spring. Florida does it all the time.
Yep. And so Dallas loses 6-3. They're probably a little pissed off.
Yeah,
they're going to come out with an edge to them. That team's going to have an edge to them on Wednesday.
At this point, man, again, it being a playoff game, that is what it is. That's the first game of the playoffs. That is the first game of round 2 is what takes place Wednesday night at Ball Arena. At this point, where we're seeing Logan O'Connor and Arturi Lehkonen and Ross Colton and Gabe Landeskog all at morning skate. All of them were on the ice. And some of them have been on the ice for multiple skates in a row. It's time to fucking put them in the lineup. I know the only thing that matters for the fan base and for the team is what they do in the playoffs. This is a playoff game. It is time for you to be in the lineup. I know you got hit in the midsection and we're really nervous about what Gabe's, overall health is like. It's time for you to be in the lineup. I know you've had complications due to off-season hip surgery, but you know what? It's March 18th on Wednesday. Logan, it's time to be in the fucking lineup. Ross Colton, you got hit with a puck, and then you got a really weird hit in front of the net from Arturi Lehkonen a handful of games ago that looked like he got his rib. It's time to be in the lineup because you know what? You're not going to be 100% healthy when it comes to playing the Dallas Stars at the end of April. It's time to be in the lineup. Let's go.
Well, didn't Jared Bednar say the other day that Brent Burns has had multiple injuries this season, but he refuses to come out of the lineup because one, that Iron Man streak means too much to him, but these dudes, you're banged up. I mean, all of them are banged up.
Split up the Burns Manson pair forever.
Well, you can do that too. If Logan O'Connor's gonna be back in a week, because then we get a 2-ish week timeline a few days ago on everybody. Colton's the one mystery. I don't really know what's going on with Ross, but Lehkonen, Landeskog, and O'Connor was like, oh yeah, all three could be back in the same time and could be a couple weeks. Kind of reminds me of Landeskog at the end of last year where he was clearly ready to go for game 1. I understand the hesitation and the caution because of how long he had been out and the severity of everything. But at that point, when you're talking about 3 years, what is the difference between a week or two?
Right.
So what is the difference? You got to, and it sucks because I wouldn't care so much about the 1 seed if it wasn't for avoiding Minnesota,
and avoiding Dallas.
I wouldn't give a shit about falling to the 2 if, you were playing the 7 seed in a normal 1-8 format, so I wouldn't care. I'd just be like, look, then I would say, be patient, be cautious. Health is the most important thing. But the difference between getting Seattle and Minnesota is so massive. And the fact that you would have to go through Minnesota and then Dallas and potentially wear yourself down and a lesser opponent on the other side of the bracket or in the cup finals could get you, you really have to do whatever you can to get this 1 seed.
It's not even for me, Spring. It's not even for me seeing Minnesota and being worn down yourself. It's gifting Dallas, Seattle, or San Jose, or Nashville, or Winnipeg. And for it is certainly a little bit of both. For me, if I had to choose one or the other in terms of why it means so much to this team, look at what Dallas does as they get deeper in postseasons, right? Because they have to go through that attrition, they end up not being able to finish it down the line, right? And you run into them in the first round last year. And they were relatively healthy outside Jason Robertson. You need to allow them to get beat the hell up. Because when they get beat the hell up and they play long series, they eventually lose. They're not going to lose in the first round. That's not who they are. The Dallas Stars are not a lose in the first round team. Over the last 3 seasons, they haven't been a lose in the second round team. So for me, it's more along the lines of don't gift Dallas Seattle. Don't give them this cupcake.
No,
you've done this.
Well, yeah, and then Dallas gets to be the team that sweeps Seattle, and they're fresher for the second round. And that hurts the Avs right there. A potential second round matchup. Couple on that I think Avs Wild goes at least 6. I think a Wild Stars goes at least 6, right? But I think Colorado could do it. they're good enough. I mean, I still am very excited to see this team when, I don't know what is Kadri going to be the third line C. Maybe he is. And that's crazy. I mean, when, you're fully loaded and Nick Waugh, look, he's not a second line wing. He's a great third line player. I don't really want him on my second line. And that's
he was brought to be a third line player. He's brought to be a bottom six player on this
team. Even though it was a little underwhelming.
Bigger, meaner, tough to play against.
You ended up getting one of the prizes, which was Kadri or O'Reilly. O'Reilly did not move, but for Sans one of those, okay, I could live with Nick Waugh as your third line center or something like that. But he's playing on the second line. Okay, so they need everybody back. I think that they could beat Minnesota. They could beat Dallas. And then my concern is you've just played 13 or 14 games, and now all of a sudden the fucking Oilers can get you, So you gotta avoid that 2 seed.
I think they're going to hold on to it. I really do think they're going to hold on to the 1 seed. They have been good enough for the majority of the season. I think they get it done. And I don't know if like the only thing that matters is who they are against Dallas. They've been separated by a total of 0 goals and 0 shootout attempts. Like it's 2 5-4 wins on each other's ice. And that's the reason why I think tomorrow's a playoff game. I think if you win that game, you extend to 5 points with 15 games to go. You'll still have a game in hand on them. And I say for me, that's probably enough. I probably jumped the gun a little bit too early 2 weekends ago saying that the Central was over after you won both of those games in shootout fashion. I feel as though Wednesday's game is the one that you can finally say, we're here, we're ready to play this team, because Dallas is going to come out and it's going to be a playoff style game. It is going to be ugly. They're going to hit everything that moves. They're going to be fast through the neutral zone, and they are going to be lethal on the power play. Can you hold up against it? Can you show that you can bounce back from a really bad showing tonight and play against a team that has every bit as a right to win a Stanley Cup this year as Colorado does? So for me, this is a huge gut check game. Like, this is a show me who you are. I don't believe that like the Avs are who they were tonight, but who they are on Wednesday, whether it looks like tonight or it looks like they beat the shit out of Dallas, that's who you are. That it is a stake in the ground. This is our identity game. And that's why I want all of those players, if they can play, if it was like, hey, if it's the playoffs, they play the fucking playoffs.
It is the fucking playoffs, because the 1 seed is that important because of this stupid ass seeding playoff format. Do you think they were looking ahead? Were they looking ahead to Dallas? Also, knowing that Sid wasn't ready to return, even though he skated this morning. Hey, Sam Girard's not playing, and they love Sid. Sam Girard's amazing. They didn't have Sam Girard. we can just take it easy and get ready for Dallas, because they don't have Samuel Girard. No, maybe they overlooked him. I don't know. Maybe they were looking ahead. Man, I really hope that they come out with the head of steam on Wednesday night. Like, they have to show from the jump, and they just have to go, man. And it can't be these playoff performances that we've seen in recent years. It honestly was better last year with Landeskog back. I didn't notice so much last year in the playoffs in that 7-game series where Colorado had one of those weird games, like in the Kraken series. Or what was the other one?
Where they just weren't competitive.
Yeah, where you're just like, what is this?
Yeah, last year came down to 2 things. The second line didn't score a goal, and the power play didn't score. That was it. They were competitive in every game. Like, God. I didn't feel as though Dallas bullied them out of that series. No. I didn't feel as though that they were perimeter. They weren't. They were the better team for 7 games. Just the power play went completely over. So I completely agree with you. And what's the common denominator, Spring? You just said it.
No Gabe Landeskog. And so, man, yeah, I hope his giblets are ready to go for Wednesday night. Because if they don't have him, this team doesn't respond well like that. I mean, those playoff performances without him, a lot of them left a lot to be desired, and they're going to have to push And because you're going to have to forecheck from the start. You're going to have to be the aggressor. It is on your ice. You have to show that Monday tonight was unacceptable, and that you're up for this game. And you mentioned something too, towards the end of what you said, like Dallas has nothing to lose. You're so right. And when they've been the chaser, when you're the chaser all season, you almost have house money a little bit. You've been just climbing and staying right on their heels, and now you have a chance to kind of pounce.
Oh yeah, you can taste it if you're Dallas. You can taste it.
Yeah. So they're certainly disappointed that they can't pass Colorado on Wednesday with them losing tonight, but they know they can get with
Utah did you such a favor tonight.
Thank you, Mams. Thank you, Utah Mams. Yeah, no, that's the thing about Dallas, though. You can talk shit about them. You can say what you want. That team's going to be pissed coming off their loss. I know for sure that the Dallas Stars are going to come out with an edge to them because that's how they play. Will Colorado finally, without Gabe Landeskog, if he doesn't play, will they finally get some of that to their game?
It's the reason why I think Wednesday is the defining game of the season. It is the defining game because I know the makeup of the Dallas Stars. We know who they are, and they bring that type of intensity largely to every game that they play in. Pretty much. So you know that you're not going to get some weird, this doesn't really matter, we'll get them in the second round of the playoffs matchup. No, this is if we're going to catch them, we have to win tonight. If we're going to catch Colorado, there is no way that we can be a game back and 5 points behind them. There's no way in hell we can do it if we lose this game. So you're going to get Dallas balls to the wall. And it is all on your shoulders as to how you respond in your own building. I'm really excited for it. If I can take one positive from tonight, it's that I am guaranteed to know who the Colorado Avalanche are on Wednesday night at 11 p.m.
You're right. It is the defining game of the season until April 4th because these two teams, that game, I'm telling you, that game is going to be a game that could flip things. Maybe Dallas, I don't know. Let's say that the Avs are just in a bad way and, they don't have some dudes and they're just punked right now. They look punked tonight. They're shell shocked. Maybe they're just just get a little shell shocked. Dude, give it until April 4th. Now the Avs will be chasing Dallas and we'll be right back here again. I don't know, man, but you definitely want to take advantage of every opportunity directly in front of your face. And look, there's no doubt if you go get Dallas on Wednesday and you bounce and, we've seen the Nuggets do this recently, have some good bounce back wins. The Avs have had some as well. And it forgets that shit taste from the game before you go beat Dallas. It's the game that you're allowed to look ahead if you win the look ahead game, So if they go get Dallas and give themselves that 5-point cushion back, tonight will be forgiven.
And the feeling of when it matters, this is who we are. Sure. When it all comes down to it and you're playing against a team that is a bona fide dog, and that's who the Stars are, a bona fide dog. This is who we are. This is how we can respond. I am very excited for Wednesday to learn whether or not you can respond to a dog. Because, Dallas got the living crap beat out of them in the third period today.
Yeah.
This is not they didn't lose.
A shorty was the go-ahead goal for Utah.
They didn't lose some fluke game today. They had 4 goals scored on them in the third period by Utah, and it was a 6-3 final tonight.
Yep, 6-3.
It was 6-2 until 4 seconds to go, and Dallas scored a throwaway power play goal at the end of the game. It's essentially they kind of lost the same game you did today.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're not going to have Rantanen. They're not going to have Hintz. You might not have some dudes. Even playing field. You just went and beat those dudes in their building too. And, if the standings hold, it would be a game 7 in a second round series against Colorado and Dallas on the Avs ice this time. Last year. So if we're treating this like this is, do or die, and this is what you really are, then this is a game 7 on your home ice, and that could be the second round scenario. So what's it going to be? I mean, it's even from injuries to where the standings have been all season. It's on your ice. If you lose this game, it is a bad look. It's a really bad look.
Who do you start?
Yeah, that's the other question.
Who do you start?
We learned nothing tonight, actually.
We learned nothing.
I thought we would know
tonight.
at the end. That's hilarious. I said on the Blitz, we're going to know by the end of tonight who's starting in Dallas. And of course, we still have no idea.
I thought when they yanked Wedgwood, I was like, all right, Blackwood's going to come in. Maybe they don't win this game, but Blackwood comes in, maybe stops, 18 of 20 or something like that. And they lose 5-3 with an empty net or something crazy like that. And then I could go, well, Blackwood came in and he played well, so you start him. Who now?
I think, okay, my logic will be this. Go with Wedgwood. First of all, he barely played tonight. What did he play, like 10 minutes, if that?
Good point.
So there's that. And I even said this in the Winnipeg game, and I thought the Avs played better in Winnipeg than they did today, which is a low bar. I thought it was, the McKinnon turnover, Burns not bodying out whoever in front of net. I thought it was some of the play in front of Blackwood. Certainly was that tonight. I mean, the defense was atrocious. I don't think the goaltending was good either. But since, you can't really put it, Blackwood comes in, didn't do much better. Wedgwood's been better overall this season, because tonight was a wash. So we just go back to before tonight. And so if we're going back to before tonight, guess what, Scott? It's your start. I'm giving it to Wedgwood.
I think I'm giving it to Wedgie too. Just knowing that Blackwood hasn't played Dallas well in the regular season. Spring. Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted. I'm trying to add in some video for us here. So give me just one moment and I'll make sure that I get some reaction from Nathan.
Queuing up here.
I've got Nathan McKinnon here. Let's hear from the Avs goal scorer, Nathan McKinnon.
So hopefully we can bounce back.
Talking about that chemistry, is this just one of those games that you just kind of look at and see what went wrong, but then knowing that you're still waiting for guys to get back in the lineup?
Yeah, I think lines and D pairs need to sit down and go through clips and figure out what our system is right now. Like too much passing around the perimeter. Like the only good shift of the game we had was when Burzy took 4 shots from the strong side and then they tipped one in the net. So that's how we have to play. We're too perimeter. We don't shoot enough. We haven't had 30 shots in 4 games now, which is very, very rare for us. Usually we work off that D1 shot. And obviously our tracking, forward tracking, need to help our D more. And even like the Seattle game wasn't great either. And sometimes winning can mask some stuff. Winnipeg, we're good defensively. We just didn't shoot the puck at all. No one's at the net. So, we need to get guys in the paint.
Nathan McKinnon and his post-game comments about the actual X's and O's of why the Avs are not finding a way. And for him, I mean, you can sum that up in we're not gritty enough. He said, we don't have guys in tough areas. We are doing too much perimeter passing, and we're not getting guys anywhere near close to the paint. And that's the reason why you don't beat Winnipeg. It's part of the reason why you don't do anything tonight. That's from an offensive perspective. On the defensive side, man, they're making big time mistakes in the middle of the ice. They're leaving the net front completely unattended. They're not defending or rushes well enough. They're getting beat on bad pinches on the offensive side that are leading to 2-on-1s and breakaways. And all of those feel like they're going in the back of the net over the course of the last couple of games.
Yeah. Okay. See, Brock Nelson hasn't scored this month. Hasn't scored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. 8 or 9 games. Kale. And I know and I want to go to the defense too. And I bring up Brock because, and Nichushkin as well. Nichushkin had those couple good games, but those two, especially when you don't have Landeskog and you don't have Lekanen, who's smaller, but man, does he fight his ass off in those dirty areas. O'Connor does that. You haven't had him all season. You really need Nelson and Nichushkin to, and I know Brock wants to be a little more perimeter, but when you're without some of these guys, you got to get in there and you got to push guys around and give the defensemen, if you're going to play perimeter and shoot from that area, give them tips and screens and, bodies in front. Let's see. I remember tweeting out Kale's heating up. He has 2 assists in his last 5 games. He hasn't scored. I need Kale and Taves, though, defensively. I need them to set a better tone.
Dude, I wonder if you split them up, right? Because I'm telling you,
Maybe
you have to split up Manson and Burns. And my fix has always been like, okay, just flip-flop one of them with the bottom pair defenseman, and that's the fix. Maybe you split them up and you go, Kulak plays the left side with Kale as your first pairing. Taves plays your second pair, and you kind of split your second and third pair 50-50. And then Taves plays alongside Malinsky. And then you get Manson and...
Well, now you're back to Manson and Burns.
Oh, God damn it.
I know.
Sorry. You can play Taves with Burns, and you play Manson with Malinsky?
Yeah.
Is that... I have no idea. Is that... Do you play Manson with Kale? I could do that. Why not? Manson, Kale, Taser, Malinsky, Kulak, Burns. I don't know. It could help. Like the defending can't get worse the past couple of games.
Brent Burns on that, and tonight's game. I don't even want to go through all the goals, but like the second goal that the Jets scored on Saturday, like Brent Burns and all the Avs defensemen struggle from this. Just fucking cross-check them. I don't even care right now.
If they're not going to call it in the playoffs.
It leads to a 2-minute penalty. It leads to a 2-minute penalty. Move these dudes around. Defensively, they're too wide. They're focusing too much on like poke checks and
picking sticks.
Yeah, little skill plays. No, just get on these dudes and push them a little bit. But it's also not their makeup, It's not really Kale's makeup. Burns is older. It's not really Malinsky, and that's something Malinsky needs to work on. If he's going to be a guy that they just paid just south of $5 million for the next few years, I need to see more aggression physically, defensively.
Well, again, I don't see it from Burns and Manson enough. And those are your big bruising defenseman. I know Burns isn't a bruiser, but he's a big defenseman and he's physically gifted. Those guys don't clear the net front as well as I want them to either. Look at what Esa Lindell does. Look at what that big fucking oaf Bischel does on Dallas. They're not going to call those cross checks in the playoffs. It just doesn't happen. It has to be, you have to shatter a guy's ribs for them to call that penalty.
Or do it up high.
It has to be such a clear and away goal. The puck is right there. The goaltender's on the opposite post. And there's no way you don't score and then you get cross-checked. Then the referee's hand is going to go up. Outside of that, man, it is trench warfare.
They don't push. And
neither one of them do. Even your big dudes don't.
It's okay to piss the other team off. You don't have
to prefer them to do that.
Gosh darn nice. You don't have to be so gosh diddly darn nice. There's a bunch of Ned Flanders out there.
Here's a little bit more Kale, or rather Nate.
And Marty, 4 pieces of the power play are still playing together. Just what is it about the power play that feels like night to night? It's going or it's not. It's producing or it's not.
Yeah, the same thing. We need everyone on the same page, and we need more communication before the game, meetings. Really know what we're going to do over and over again. Right now, we're good since the break. It felt like we've been pretty good, and then Winnipeg, and then tonight was just off again. So can't really explain it.
That was Nate on the power play. You mentioned Brock Nelson. Here's Brock Nelson after the game, Spring.
Every game is crucial right now, so I know everyone's talked about Wednesday, but I mean this one was equally as big, so we have to bounce back.
Talk about supporting both goaltenders a little bit more. Can you tell me a bit more specifically what that looks like?
Yeah, I mean, don't give them the easy looks, breakaways, and backdoors.
And then looking ahead at Dallas, what is the expectation? Both teams coming in on some difficult losses.
Yeah, energy's gonna be high. Yeah, both teams a little lopsided and at home too. So both teams will be having a similar message, coming back with a strong game and worried about just playing the right way and doing all the little things, taking care of the details and building your game for down the stretch with how tight it is.
How would you?
Brock Nelson's post-game comments.
Very somber. He said that they will. He said they will bounce back Wednesday against the Stars. Nate talked about their system and, he's played with Kadri and that line looks so good. But, I mean, it's you who pointed out, right? He didn't even really play together when they were on the Avs. But obviously now they've moved Kadri down to line 2. And Nichushkin back up. So there's movement. Nichushkin has played with them, but I mean, now you have a second line with 3 centers, and Nelson hasn't played with Kadri and Waugh, and they're figuring things out. But it is a ton of defensive breakdowns. Brock talked about the defense. It's just, it really is a want-to thing. And how about it was the Brian Russ power play goal, right? Where they had a 3-on-2 shorthanded little rush. And I'm watching this team enter the zone. And I know you're on the kill and it's a shorthanded opportunity, but just no urgency.
No, nothing. Everyone on the train tracks.
And they had no idea what to do with that puck. And Rush just leaks out and they turn it over. Nobody's even close to back or responsible. If you're going to go over 3, you got to have some awareness about you. You either need to have an urgency to make a play offensively, or you got to have a guy being like, I need to leak back a little bit and get back. It's a want-to thing on defense. It really is. And they didn't have it.
It's a want to, it's awareness, right? On a 3-on-2 on the power play, knowing that a defenseman is leading the rush. When that puck comes back across the zone, I can't remember who the 2 forwards were on that play, but it cuts back across the zone. So Manson goes to the right side, and then they make the cross ice pass to get the puck back to the middle, as Manson is kind of now the net driver. As those forwards, you have to know what's the worst thing that can happen right now. Because you're on a kill, not at 5-on-5, right? Not on a power play, because you're on a kill. You have to think, what's the worst thing that can happen? And you're counting jerseys and you're counting bodies and you're recognizing 42 is in front of me. That big, beefy dude is in front of me. What happens if a puck bounces? What happens if we don't get this thing deep? It's at least a 2-on-1 coming back, if not worse. So when that puck goes across the zone, the first thing you have to be thinking about is just shooting and getting it on net because you've got Manson crashing. The second thing you have to be thinking about, as I fall over myself right now, is when you make the second pass, you got to get out of the zone. You're not going in now, right? You now become Josh Manson because he's already basically below the dots.
Yeah, you have to see where your defensemen have
it's awareness.
Push forward and then understanding which spot then is left vacant and that you as a forward now need to occupy. Yeah, and you saw again, like, man, when I see in the Winnipeg game, Taves going, hey, Nate, get over here. It's just that, and he doesn't go. Like, they are just not in communication on their defensive rotations. I feel like I'm talking about the Nuggets right now. Their defensive rotations are awful. When they make it, how many times have we seen recently a defenseman pinch towards the boards where where their D pairman is on the guy and they go for a double team and then nobody picks up the person that the other defenseman left. So you either need to be on this, you need to be on the same page. Either A, don't, as the other defenseman, don't move because your guy's not going to cover your ass, or it just needs to be known, hey, we might do this. You need to cover my ass. Which,
Yeah.
get on the same page. Get on the same fucking page.
And it's what Nate was saying. Like, you have to get in the room with your partner and you have to get in the room with your offensive line and say, from the defensive side out, what's our system? And for me, it's awareness everywhere on the ice. I look at the 2-on-1 goal that Malkin scores, right? Like, you get beat around the outside of the dots as your Josh Manson. And Manson has gotten beat. And we knew this coming in, that like Josh Manson was going to have games in the regular season where he was going to look horrendous. That's who he has been. And then in the postseason, he becomes a monster. And I was okay with that, right? When we talked about the extension, I was like, guys, don't worry. There's going to be some games where Josh Manson looks terrible and he costs you regular season points, but you have to be okay with it because of what he gives you in the playoffs. The past couple of games have kind of been those types of games for me. He gets beat around the outside. Nick Blankenberg now makes the move to go to Chinikov outside the dots. Let the goaltender take the shot, right? Sometimes it matters who's in the middle of the ice. Like, if Devin Wotherspoon is the guy crashing the net, maybe you go to the puck carrier. That's okay. It's Evgeny fucking Malkin. That's the most dangerous player on the ice, Nick Blankenberg. I know it's a 2-on-1, and you made a decision. Like, I'm okay with that. You made a quick decision, but you let a multi-MVP and a multi-Conn Smythe Trophy winner wide open in the middle of the ice. Mm-hmm. Like, go to him. Mm-hmm. Allow Mackenzie Blackwood, right? Or is it Wedgie at that point in net? It was still Wedgie. Allow Wedgie to take Igor Chinikov's shot. I'm okay with that.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why are you doing that? Why are you vacating Malkin? And your goaltending's good. It is like, and this is the frustrating thing about Blackwood, even if it wasn't him in net at that point. It's fucking Wedgwood. It's the guy that's been amazing for them all season. Let him make a play. Just trust your D partner to at least cut the angle down enough to where Wedgie can make a play. Yeah, don't know your personnel. And is that Blankenberg?
That is a read the game notes moment.
Hey, Blankenberg's new to the team, right? And do you want to go 7D on Wednesday? Do you want to continue with the 7D?
No, because I want players playing. I already screamed about that at the beginning of the show. I want players playing. Colton, Lehkonen, Landeskog, O'Connor. Some of you get into the lineup.
I want to get, especially for a team the level of Dallas, you got to get Nick Waugh back on the third line. So, if it's Colton, if it's Landeskog or Lehkonen, boom, you filled your top six wing void. And if Landeskog's back, okay, I guess we're putting him back with the top line.
Yep.
If he's not back on Wednesday night, then I need Kadri back on the top line. I know that, first part of the Winnipeg game wasn't great. It was okay. It was so fucking good against the Kraken. Like, that top line was amazing against the Kraken, that when it was just okay against Winnipeg, now it's like, oh, you got to put Kadri back at center or take Kadri off the top line. No. Nichushkin right now, and somebody brought Nichushkin in the chat, and that's who was on the top line.
He had a nice little spinorama drive the net at the beginning of the second period.
Okay, I need him to be that puck hunter. Someone brought up his puck hunting that I'm not seeing. I haven't seen in 2026 that go win the puck in the corners, then you're so quick net front, and you're leaving yourself open for a McKinnon pass or a Natchez pass. I don't know. Nichushkin is just a half step slow in 2026. So I want Kadri back up there. I don't care that they didn't score in the first two periods in Winnipeg. It was so good against Seattle that's what I want against Dallas. I want to put my best hand out there, and that's Kadri back on the top line. Unless Landeskog's back, then you can do that. I don't like Nichushkin up there right now. There's a reason he was in trade talks. He looks just a step slow, especially playing with Nathan McKinnon and Marty Natchez. You got to be on your game.
Yeah, you got to either be seeing the ice perfectly like Kadri does. You either have to do that, or you have to be adding something physically like Landeskog does to his net front presence and his ability to not only win draws, but also go into corners and win pucks out of there. You have to bring that. And Nuke really hasn't brought that yet. I kind of agree.
Which I hate saying because I
just
haven't-
lost in Evgeny Malkin's career on Hockey Reference right now.
It's probably pretty.
Turns out Nick Blankenberg, the guy with 1,400 points, probably shouldn't be left alone.
No, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, I'll disagree with you in the chat here. I think Nichushkin in 2026 has not been, and he's a guy that night in, night out for years, I always noticed and was impactful with the little things. Just haven't seen it of late.
I still notice him in the neutral zone.
Okay.
I still think he's one of the best neutral zone forecheckers and back pressure players in the league. And I think the Avs are certain. I talked about the neutral zone a couple of games ago, Spring, about how like it just didn't feel right for them. And I was like, I don't know why they're not defending well in the neutral zone. That's who they are. Like Arturi Lekkonen's also one of those best players in the middle third of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
I need him to be back. I have noticed Nichushkin in the middle of the ice. I haven't noticed him as much on the offensive side of the puck, where he is like not only being the first guy on the puck, but when he's not, he's able to force plays into the corners and then you can reload. I agree with you there.
Well, and defensive back checks too. Nichushkin over the years has bailed you out a lot of times. When, you know, if he's out there with Makar and Tage, so many times over the years that one of those two pinches, Nichushkin needs to save a breakout and he gets back and he makes the play. I don't know. It's not, he's still a steal. I mean, he's still at $6 million is a great steal. But before this portion of the calendar, this part of the season, I mean, he was like, that dude should be making north of $10 million steal. Right now, he's playing a little more to his contract. He's playing a little more like a $6 million player. And it just is magnified more when you don't have Landeskog or Lekkonen in the top six.
Are we happy that this is happening right now to the Avs? Right? Like the part of the fan base that was nervous about them being too far ahead and being Boston of a few years ago, where you just lap the entire league and you're in first place the whole season long and nobody's even sniffing you and you have no sense of competition whatsoever. And then you go into the first round. And granted, a lot of people have to realize and recognize who Boston lost to in the first round that year. People forget it was the Florida Panthers as the 8 seed that year, the Florida Panthers. So it's like you have to go back in history and say, like, was that really an 8 seed that they lost to? It was still a disappointment. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of Avs fans, when they were 31-5-2 or whatever it was, or 2-5, a lot of Avs fans were like, oh, what happens if they lose their edge? Well, now you have the opposite, right? Like they have a fire lit under their ass. Like there is no coasting into the postseason, even though you might still win the President's Trophy. So I wonder how that piece of the fan base is feeling right now. Is like, here's your wish. Like they're now being pushed. There is no sort of you get to sleep your way into the postseason. You have to turn it on 15 games prior.
I have a feeling too. I don't think it'll be the Kraken. I'm starting to lean. I think maybe the Kings is their most dangerous. Now that they've added Panarin, and you'd have to see Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, but they lost Kevin Fiala. Kevin Fiala is so good.
They did, but they're still pretty solid. You know, Kempe is a really underrated player. Kopitar brings a lot of the things that, you know, in a way, like a Landeskog does. Landy's a little more physical, but nonetheless. And that's the type of team that, now they're not Florida. They're not, but they're more veteran. And the way the Avs are playing right now, that could be a tougher series than, or at least if they continue this, that's a tougher series. But hey, if they continue this, they're not playing fucking LA. They're not playing the Kraken. They're playing the Wild. And then if they go into the playoffs, if they fall to the 2, like that's going to be a kick in Gabe Landeskog's cup is what that's going to be. Because you
If they fall to the 2 seed, it's panic time.
all season long, you were thinking you got Seattle or something like that, and then at the last minute, nope, you got Minnesota. That's a kick in Landeskog's cup, no doubt
All
about
right.
it. Hey man, I can't even yell about this game anymore. I can't.
I yelled enough. I felt my boiling point come tonight, and again, I still think they're still a really good hockey team. Like they're still so good and so worthy of winning a cup. But so is Dallas, and you now get to see exactly who you are. Like the fact that you don't have to wait a week for this game after these. I wouldn't call the Winnipeg game an egg. I just think it was like sleepy, and Hellebuck played really well, and whatever. So those types of games happen over the course of an 82 game season. These ones, not so much.
Well, especially when you're the best team in the league.
Yeah, especially when that happens. And typically, when these games happen, to have another like measuring stick, it's like a week out or a week and a half out, where you have time to like get yourself right and then forget about the crap. Not often does it happen like that for both teams.
Yeah.
Dallas coming off of a 15-game point streak and then getting their butts kicked at home in the third period against Utah. And then Colorado coming back home against a Sidney Crosby-less Penguins team and getting their butts kicked from front to back. You get it in 2 days. Like it's a gift of a hockey game for us to watch and for us to basically say, now we know who you are.
Well, yeah, and someone on the Stars is going to do something on Wednesday night because that's how they respond. That's how they play overall. So they will respond the way I want Colorado. I wanted Colorado to do it tonight when it was clear that they didn't have it midway through this game. I want them to do it to start Wednesday's night game. Certainly, I just at the very least want them to just have more intensity north-south. I'd like them to just pick a fight right out of the gate. I don't expect them to do that. Dallas could do something like that. Something's going to happen in that game. You know, Jamie Benn's going to do something.
Liam Bischel's going to do something.
Bischel's going to do something.
Michael Bunting's going to do something.
And so you just got to be ready to go. I mean, I expect, especially with both teams coming off of losses and Dallas just having that in their nature, and they're going to lean on it even more coming off their poor loss. I expect at least 5 scrums, like at least. Did we even really see one tonight, which is odd.
You saw, didn't you see like a fight at the end or something? I think there was a fight when we hopped on.
Okay,
because
yeah, I wasn't watching.
You and I texted. I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this game.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to each other.
Usually teams, when they're getting their dicks kicked in, like they'll start some scrums. Avs didn't want to do that tonight. You know, Dallas is there's going to be 5. There's going to be 5. So you better be ready to, like, Josh Manson, like, you're going to have to tussle. Nazem Kadri, you're going to have to tussle. I can keep going. Brent Burns, now's a good time at 41 to do stuff like there's going to be, I'm calling it at least 5 of those post save in front of goalie bullshit type scrums. At least 5 on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the first 5 minutes are going to tell me whether or not they're ready to play. Because Dallas has to smell blood in the water. Even though they're coming off and they're licking themselves right now off of the Mammoth loss, like you look at what happened tonight and you look at the tape, you go, oh, they're like that feels wounded for some reason. And the first 5 minutes, Dallas is going to come out like bats out of hell.
And if that happens, if the Avs don't have a good first 5 minutes and they get down, I don't think, because coming off of this shellacking and the overall shell shockingness of it all, I don't think they'd have a comeback in them like they did in Dallas. I think if they got down a goal,
if Landeskog's in the lineup, I think that's the only thing that I say you're wrong.
Yeah.
If Landy's in the lineup, it's so different. Like throw everything out the window. They could go down 2-0 early, and then I could be fine with them coming back later.
2-0, and I'd be like, okay, you got Landy out there. They'll find something. They'll fight in this game.
Yeah.
If they got down 1-0, or I mean, the first goal is actually pretty damn important on Wednesday.
All right, that's going to be a late game for us, Spring. It's like a 7:30 start, but it's national, which means it's probably going to be closer to 7:50, 7:52 puck drop. I'm going to be doing network that night, so like Spring and I aren't getting on air until 11:30 is my guess that evening. But I can't wait. It's a playoff game, man. I'm going to essentially do what we just did on the morning sprint tomorrow without cursing. And I'm going to try to not curse because, I'll get fired if we do.
Just tell KJ to have that dump button ready.
I'm going to say the same exact thing, man. Like, it's a playoff game. Get your asses in the lineup.
It is a playoff game. You have to treat it as such. I mean, for obvious reasons, but also given what happened tonight. I mean, that's a do or die game just for your own dignity.
Show us who you are. That's what we get to learn Wednesday. Show us who you are. That's Spring. I'm Raj. Thank you guys so much for listening, hanging out with us, and enjoying this therapy session that we do every single evening, whether it's a win or a loss for the Avs. Most of the time, it's been a win. But we'll talk to you guys late on Wednesday after the Avs take on the Dallas Stars at home.